Well, it's been a long time coming, but this is it. We're back. Unapologetic with Chet and Duffy is back here on
Yo,
Fans Only Sports Network. I am your host, Chet, and to my right is my counterpart, Duffy. Duffy, how do you feel about the start to season 2 of the show?
season 2 of the show, man. I'm really excited for this. We've been going off this for a while, but a little month absence from us. We had to take a little summer break. Pretty dry news around the leagues that we love the most, mostly NFL. But I'm most excited just to be back on this show, making content with you on these Wednesdays. A little early show today too. Pretty exciting. And for football season, man, my excitement for that it just can't wait, man.
Yeah.
Next Thursday cannot come soon enough.
Absolutely. I mean, next Thursday night is kickoff in the NFL, and Dallas will be taking on Tampa Bay in Tampa. That'll be a huge game as the Super Bowl champs will take on Dak Prescott, who missed a majority of season last year after breaking his leg. We'll see if he comes back strong in this one. But keeping it grounded with the show, I mean, it's just weird. We did take a break. We should have announced it. Obviously, apologies for that. But now that football season is on the cusp of its beginnings. We're back. We're ready to go. I've got my fantasy draft going on tonight, so that's something that I'm really excited for.
How much is this buy-in? How much is this league?
This buy-in is $75, so it's up there. It's a good deal. A lot of money to be won in USDs. So we'll see what happens. I mean, it's auction, so I mean a little more stakes in terms of with your picks. And the draft also lasts around 2.5 to 3 hours.
Auction drafts are tough, man. That's a long draft.
It is a long draft, but it's so much fun because honestly, my plans always change mid-draft, especially with like who my first pick's going to be. Because half the time I get outbid for the guy I want, so then I have to settle. Well, I shouldn't say I settle. I still go for the guy I want, but it's definitely a little bit less than what I had hoped for, but it still works out. Playoff consistency right here. You're looking at a playoff consistent team here, not a Super Bowl champion yet.
Me neither. That's me in my league too, man. Playoffs every year, but I'm still ringless. This is not the championship ring. Sorry, this camera's messed with me because my hand really is on this side. You can't even tell, but anyways. Knock on some wood for me and Chet. Both get some fantasy football hardware this season.
Yeah, trying to get in the Fantasy Football Hall of Fame, obviously, within the friend group and keep the trash talk going live, especially tonight when we're taking each other's players. I mean, that's going to be funny. It's going to cause some pandemonium, but nonetheless, we will have for the show. We will definitely have a lot of fantasy football coverage going on as the season goes on. Obviously, last year we kind of got in the late weeks. Now we're going to be with you covering the league throughout every single week. And step by step, we'll take you through it all, starting with what just happened yesterday in New England. Cam Newton, the number 1 overall pick from 2011, released by the New England Patriots yesterday in a stunning move. Bill Belichick, about a month ago, when press was coming up to him, asking him who the starter was going to be. My man Bill stood up tall and said, it's going to be Cam. Cam will be our starter unless somebody else steps up to the plate. And you know who did? Mac Jones here. This guy stepped up in a big way in his debut with the New England Patriots in preseason. We saw him finish at 36 for 52, 389 passing yards, 1 touchdown, and no interceptions, playing 107 snaps in the preseason. He looked good very balanced from what I saw out of him, Duffy. What's your analysis?
Yeah, Mac looked really good all preseason. I think Cam looked solid too. He really looked solid in that first half against the Eagles in week 2 of the preseason, Cam. But fortunately for Cam, I guess, Mac just outperformed him. And the eye test could really tell. I think like every drive that Mac Jones, led this preseason, resulted in a scoring drive, or most of them at least. I mean, watching that Eagles game week 2, I think he took the Patriots down the field for like 4 or 5 straight scoring drives over a couple quarters. This guy has it. I think he has it, man. And sure, I'm some biased Pats fan a little bit. I want him to succeed as much as I want to see Tom Brady succeed. But he reminds me a lot of Brady, and early on in his career at least, because I think this season. And just reading those stats that you said, Chris, one that really pops out in my mind is, 52 passing attempts and only 1 touchdown pass. And not saying that's bad, but obviously it could be better. But that's we're going to see a lot of this season. I think we're going to see a lot of Mac Jones passing the ball on third downs. And we're going to have the mentality this season. We're going to pass to set up the run. We're going to be doing all these long drives down the field with Mac Jones, run the ball a lot because we do have a really deep running back room this season. We saw Ramondre Stevenson pop off this preseason too. And this team's looking good. And I think Mac is in a way better position than Cam was last year in terms of personnel on the offense. Way better receiving core, way better running backs, better offensive line this year too, despite losing Joe Thuney, I believe it was. The offensive line is still, I think, top 5 to top 10 in the entire league. Mac has all the tools to succeed right now. You're going from Nick Saban to Bill Belichick. You're obviously a smart kid. And, Mac looks like he's making the right decisions on and off the field, man, because he looked really sharp this preseason. And he had some deep balls, too, that were dropped. Don't forget that. And honestly, I liked what I saw from this preseason a lot. And arguably it was better than anything I saw from Cam Newton in the regular season last year. So I'm excited for this chapter. I'm going to wish Cam the best of luck, obviously, because he was here for the last, year and change. Led us to an incredible 7 regular season victories last year. Pretty awesome. He's going to be in the Patriots Hall of Fame one day. Psych.
Yeah, good one.
We can stop pretending to like this dude now.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I mean, obviously, it's taken me some time to kind of realize because
let's just rip them apart right now.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this is where we can all officially sit down and just talk shit about Cam Newton because at the end of the day, sure, I was optimist. I was an optimist with Cam Newton.
Oh yeah,
I'll sit here and say that, I wasn't jumping up and down for the guy, but at the same time, I got to admit there were moments where I was like, oh, I want to see this guy do good. And that's why I wanted to speak positively about the dude. But at the same time, there's just too much negativity. And there's too much of people who are telling me, man, stop. You're literally burning yourself with fire for liking this guy. It's literally just holding my hand over a hot flame here. And Cam, if you look at his statistics last season, they're not up to par from 2020. 2,657 passing yards. That's 24th in the league. 8 touchdowns, 33rd in the league. 10 interceptions. Obviously, it's 10 interceptions. That's not many. But 8 to 10 ratio, horrible.
It's still negative.
And then you look at rushing. 137 attempts for 592 yards and 12 rushing touchdowns. That is a mid-career high. Right alongside his 14 touchdowns that he rushed for in his rookie season. But at the end of the day, Cam, week to week, was so inconsistent. He had games that he did well in, but in those games, it was games against teams like the Jets and the Chargers. And obviously, that's literally the only 2 games I can think of off the top of my head because this guy proved he's not the man to lead this offense.
He's not.
Sure, we haven't seen much from Mac Jones. And sure, I know, Tim, you did. Well, Duffy, I should say.
That's me.
I knew it was going to slip up once. Your government name? Your Jesus name?
My name is Timothy.
But the thing is obviously Mac Jones is a rookie. And by throwing no interceptions in preseason, that really speaks a lot. And this is the team he wanted to go to from draft day, which really says a whole lot about his loyalty to the team. Not to say Cam Newton had no loyalty. This guy wanted to grind and work hard, and he did show signs that he had worked a little bit harder, but it just wasn't enough. And I have to like this move in a way. I am a little confused by it because now it means less competition for Mac Jones to hold this starting job. The only quarterback behind him now, no more Brian Hoyer, is Jarrett Stidham, who we all thought last season was going to be the one to lead the team forward. But I like that we have Mac Jones. It's just a little strange to me that we cut him, but I think Belichick needed to make this statement known that he's not playing around and he sees something special in this kid.
Yeah, that's a good point I forgot to bring up also that you brought up is the Patriots quarterback room right now. I think Mac's the only quarterback on the team right now. Or is Sim still on the roster too?
He still is, but now it's kind of back to the old system with Tom Brady where there was only 1-2 quarterbacks on the team.
I think we're going to need another reliable backup quarterback possibly. I don't know if Sim's going to be the move all season, but I heard that we might re-sign Hoyer again too, but I don't know how true that is. But
I read that today that's a possibility.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I mean, that's a good point, Chet. Belichick's really showing how much confidence he has in Mac Jones to be the QB1. Living in that quarterback room, showing he's really not playing around. And dude, it's kind of crazy because this is the first time really in either of our lifetimes we're going to be seeing a highly touted rookie quarterback starting for our team. I think the only other time we've seen rookie quarterback start for the Patriots was Jacoby Brissett, for 2 games in 2016 during Brady's suspension. So it's really new to all of us in New England to see something like this happen. And I'm looking forward to it a lot because, looking at him play this preseason, I think he stacks up in the top 3 quarterbacks at the moment. Him, Trevor Lawrence, and Zach Wilson all really impressed me this preseason and show what they can do. I think there's going to be the 3 that are going to end up starting week 1 anyways. So, dude, this is just really exciting for Mac and see what he can do. I'm expecting to see a lot of lower scoring games this year from the Pats. I think we're going to go into a lot of games with the mindset, hey, let's hold on to the ball. Let's chew the clock. Let's take some long, meticulous drives down the field and punch it in. And I think Mac Jones, from what we've seen this preseason, albeit it was against a couple of bad defenses in Philadelphia and the New York Giants, but he can do that. He can really go out there and do that. He can manage the game, kind of like any young rookie quarterback can. And honestly, there's no doubt in my mind this is still a playoff team. This is still one of the best defense in the league. It's top 10 defense in the league, top 5 arguably. Sure, Stephon Gilmore is out for the first 6 games of the season, but this is a really good football team. I'm feeling really good about this team. Way more improved than last year. And Mac Jones, if he can just go out here, man, I think he's going to throw around somewhere around 17 to 20 touchdown passes and just do his job. They're not going to ask too much from him, obviously, because he's a rookie quarterback. So if he can just manage the game, do his job, throw 1 or 2 touchdown passes a game, I think we're going to be really good this season.
Yeah, I have to agree. I mean, there's probably going to be plenty of times we're going to see Damian Harris and this running back committee take over and just pound that football right up the hole in terms of running. I think we're going to see a lot of running.
Sleeper this season, Damian Harris. Go draft him if you have not drafted yet.
Absolutely.
Pick.
He's gonna. I think he's gonna go off this year because we saw a lot from him last year. And
you get him for $6 in the 11th round tonight.
I don't know about that. He might be worth at least like $10, which is pretty rough if you dump a lot of your cap into all these really good guys.
Pretty rough, but I think he could be a solid RB2 for a fantasy team.
Potentially. He's got some potential. But I think we will see Mac Jones air the ball out a lot more. Obviously, it's going to be interesting to see what the offense shapes up to be for the Patriots this season, just because you go from a mobile quarterback system now to a pocket passer system all over again. But it's something they're familiar with. And you know what? He's a rookie, so they're not going to make it too overly complicated. They're going to take it day to day with this kid, see what he can do, and get to the point where he's just comfortable slinging that ball wherever he wants it to be. So I'm excited. I really am. And even for this defense that has returning players from that COVID list last season, players like Dante Hightower that are coming back to play for the Patriots once again. Very excited to see those guys get on the field and see new arrivals like Matt Judon, Hunter Henry, and all these other guys, even on the offense, that are going to bring a lot to the table.
But speaking of Matt Judon, something I want to talk about. I hate, these D linemen, these linebackers, these cornerbacks wearing number 8, 7, 9, 6.
It's so stupid to me. I was going to say that earlier.
You're going to be scared of run the ball at a number 6, at number 8.
Even wide receivers I get pissed at because now it's like numbers 1, 2. It's like it's college rules, and it's like all these guys are just like, I want to wear the number I wore in high school. It's like, bro, who gives a shit? That was like back then. Do what the league's always done, but I don't know, man.
But me and you are just traditional football fans. We like seeing those 81s, those 87s being the tight end.
Hell yeah, of course, dude. It just has a look to it.
I'm a quarterback, dude, and I see a guy number 24, a guy number 7. I'm throwing at number 7.
Yeah,
24 doesn't intimidate me.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's very weird that now it's like all bets are the chains are off, do what you want, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But
it's kind of dope.
So going forward with the Patriots, I think this team does have potential to make the playoffs. I don't know how far they'll go. I'm not going to give you that much yet. We still have a whole nother week until the season starts, and where the Patriots will be hosting the Miami Dolphins. But speaking of hosting, Jacksonville will be hosting the Packers and Saints game this week. This is going to be a quick breeze through, obviously. Hurricane Ida hit New Orleans as of...
I'm going to keep a picture of Trevor Lawrence for this one. I'll have another picture.
Yeah, hit the coastline of the Gulf right in New Orleans. So obviously the Mercedes-Benz Superdome was impacted by this Category 4 hurricane that was just as catastrophic as Katrina. Obviously no levees broke this time around, so the city's not totally fucked. But at the same time, our heart goes out to them in hopes of the relief. The NFL today actually just sent $1 million in hurricane relief to the city in hopes that they will get themselves back on their feet, and especially all of those who have been damaged by this terrible storm. But this game is going to be hosted in Jacksonville. So this will be interesting seeing this game played on a neutral territory.
It will be. And I think if we look at the Saints schedule and their home games, this is probably the last game that they want to have in a neutral stadium against the Packers, the team that came into Superdome last year and beat them on Sunday Night Football. But I think the Packers win this game no matter what. Saints first game, the new offense, probably no Michael Thomas. Jameis Winston with the new reins to the offense, holding the keys to that team now. It's going to be pretty dope to see, how he's going to do in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Jacksonville, man, we're getting a Saints-Packers game there before Trevor Lawrence's debut. It's kind of cheeky, but I like this relocation setting, man. I mean, it's pretty neutral and some nice weather for these guys. I'm a little bit surprised that, Florida didn't get hit by the hurricane as much. Jacksonville is kind of central northern Florida, but I don't know. I haven't really done much research on the hurricane.
Absolutely, and we'll see what happens with Trevor Lawrence, obviously. He will be in Houston, and speaking of Houston, we're going to talk about Deshaun Watson for a minute because there was some talk this week that Deshaun Watson has obviously still all these allegations on the table and just all these questions surrounding those lawsuits that happened back in 2021, early this year. Houston has even cited that they might not even start him in a single game this year. But I don't know. That might have changed again because ever since then, trade talks have been coming up. And the front runners right now are the Carolina Panthers and the Miami Dolphins. So those are people who are in the mix. But Duffy, my question to you is, are we going to see this guy play?
I don't know, man. I picked him as a backup in one of my leagues in case he did play. But I'm going to take the narrative that I've had for Deshaun Watson since this first came out months ago. Screw this guy. Hope he doesn't play because I don't think it would be fair for him to play considering the history we've seen around cases like this. We saw Big Ben get suspended, I think, 4 games back in 2010 for, I think it was only 1 allegation, maybe 2. And it was originally 6 games, too, and they got reduced. So 22 allegations for Deshaun Watson, and none of which have seemed to be resolved a week before the season. I mean, he's definitely not going to start the first month or two, at least the first few weeks in case anything does end up happening or moving in that direction where it is, resolved for him. But I think just for the league and the sake of the league and their reputation, I think the best bet for them is just to suspend this guy the entire season. And same for the Houston Texans too, because they can make this a team issue just around the Texans. And for the Texans, you're a rebuilding team. You're probably the worst team in the entire league right now. And you're in position to get the first overall pick next year if Deshaun Watson does not play. And he wants to get out of there anyways. So why even force him to play? Why even, try to even win any games at this point when you're this dysfunctional, this terrible? You have a bridge head coach, a bridge quarterback, 2 guys who I don't think are going to be there next year, and David Culley and Tyrod Taylor. So I think this is definitely just a Mickey Mouse year for Houston. And
well, once again, honestly.
So I don't think there's any point even, having Deshaun Watson play football this year, man. Seriously, because it wouldn't make sense for either party. And for the league especially, because they should see and suspend this dude because 22 allegations, at least you're telling me not at least 10 of them are true a little bit.
Yeah.
There's no way that all these women are just money hungry capping. Like that's trending in the IG comments nowadays. All these people saying there's free my boy Deshaun. No, dude, Deshaun Watson is likely a predator.
Yeah.
Most likely a predator.
And
22 allegations.
yeah, and it kind of shows that he has a track record with it because obviously
Yeah.
it started out at like 12, then all of a sudden 14 or 16, then 2 dropped out. But now we have 22, and none of them are backing off. So it's like at this point, it's like, man, it has to be true. Like there's got to be some weight to this. I mean, I hate to say it, and I'm not making fun of the guy or the situation at hand. It's just I'm calling it as I see it. It has to be true. And at this point, the team has to make a statement. And I think that statement might be either we trade the guy or we just don't play him and we bench him for the year because he needs to be disciplined for this. Like that's not, or even just cut him, honestly, because.
Which they could, They
absolutely
I don't think they will because they have to pay him a lot of money because he did sign that huge contract last year.
Yeah.
And some team is going to trade for him, I think.
I think so too.
Once this is heading in like a slightly better direction, some team's going to jump on this.
And for me, this pick right now for the team that's going to make a jump on him and acquire him, I think it might be the Miami Dolphins, to be honest. I hate to say it, but I mean, the word on the street is Miami, even though like the trade talks were hot, they've gone cold now recently, but I believe it was the GM or the owner of the Dolphins was saying it's going to take time, that we're not going to just pull the trigger on a deal like this. Because think about it. This is like a generational player right here. This is a guy who, ever since he came to the league, has just elevated each season. You look at his passing percentage from 2017 till 2021, 61% in 17, 18, 68, back down to 67 in 2019, but then 2020, 70%, with a career high of 4,823 passing yards, 33 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. Led the league in passing yards too, I might add. So this guy has shown, even with the talent he had and how shit of a team he was given, he was still able to increase his own stats and become a better player as time goes on. That's only 4 seasons in. So this guy, he's worth a lot. And sure, the Houston Texans have all the power of what they can really do with him in this situation, but time is money, and he knows that. And he also knows what he's worth. So there's a lot at stake here in terms of what Deshaun Watson has to offer and what the Houston Texans have to offer. Yeah. And if Miami trades for him, I don't really know what they'll give up, but
I guess Tua and some other shit.
It's going to screw Tua Tagovailoa for a while because either he's going there, and there's even talk that this trade might not even happen until the deadline, which is in week 8.
Yeah. It honestly can't happen until they know what the hell's going with Deshaun Watson anyways. Yeah. And no one knows what's good with him. And I don't know if you saw this video on Instagram or YouTube or whatever, or maybe even the television, but did you see the NFL Top 100 video for Deshaun Watson this year?
No, I didn't.
He was number 18 on the list, and they made his video like 1:40, and they had no one talk about him. you know they always have players talk and stuff.
I was like, oh yeah, man, that guy's my homie.
Dude, no one talked about him, bro. They just were like, Deshaun Watson's talent.
Obviously, I'm exaggerating.
They're like, yeah, that's my homie. Free Deshaun, yeah.
But no, but no, it's like, obviously I can see why that they're going to make a statement towards him too.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. But like, I do like that in the top 100, how they're always like, oh, this guy's so shifty. And it's kind of cool that they give a list to every player in the league. And like, that's how they do.
Yeah.
The list itself.
That's what's so about it, man. Because game respects game. Some guys are probably too high. Some guys are really underrated too.
Yeah.
So the list was kind of shit this year, honestly.
Honestly, as years have gone on, it's gotten less exciting for me.
I haven't really watched it in a few years.
Who's number 1?
Mahomes.
Where was Brady?
7. Okay. It was Mahomes, then Aaron Donald, then Aaron Rodgers, and then Henry, and then Kelsey.
Henry, as in Derrick Henry?
Yeah, and then Devontae Adams. No, fucking Hunter Henry was the 4th best player. You hear that, guys? Hunter Henry is the GOAT.
He's better than Travis Kelce, or just as good.
Yeah, or Johnny Sims. Yeah, dude, Deshaun Watson, I mean, they said in the video, they were like, Deshaun Watson's talents on the field are certainly unquestioned, but everything else off the field is certainly questionable or something. It was so cringy. But
Oh,
yeah,
Jesus.
suspend this dude. Seriously.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Because
There's no way in hell he starts week 1. No
No.
way in hell.
we're definitely going to see Tyrod Taylor starting. If this team
Which
starts
is
him,
cool.
the
Which is
league
cool.
needs to take some action because it feels like there has been no discipline passed down whatsoever. It's just been Deshaun Watson crying.
Does he even go to practice? I think he's been able to go to practice or anything, bro.
No, I don't think so either.
But this opens up the question too. If the Texans go into the season with just Rod Taylor and Davis Mills on their QB depth chart, maybe Cam Newton goes to Houston. Maybe.
Maybe. I mean, obviously Dallas has been looking at him too as a backup.
Yeah, because Dallas did cut both of their backups yesterday morning.
Which
around
is
the
pretty
same
funny.
time Cam got cut.
Yeah, so they're probably going to make a push to get him
Cam's
as a
going to
backup.
Texas, man. He's going to go to Texas, sign a better deal, no income tax in the state of Texas. My boy's going to be living lavish. He's going to be doing nice. We're going to be praying for Cam. He won't even need that many prayers, man. He's going to be living nice.
Yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see.
I can't wait. I can unfollow him now and not see his shit with all these stupid letters.
All these letters, bro.
I was kind of forced to like Cam before he was a Pat too, and now
how are you forced?
No, sorry. When he became a Pat, I mean, before he became a Pat, I didn't fuck with him at all, really.
Yeah,
he was a tough guy to like if you weren't like a hype beast.
Yeah, and if you like the whole dab bullshit that kind of went on,
dab bullshit, and being envious of that 14-0 season or start that he had, the MVP, because if you remember that year, Brady was winning that race for most of it, and Cam came out and stole it from him, going like 15-1. But
and then in the Super Bowl, he didn't jump on his own fumble like a jerk.
Yeah,
what the hell, man? Way to be a team player. Just let your team lose.
Way to just lose your team the Super Bowl.
He was just too scared of Von Miller.
What a chooch.
Yep, that's a chooch right there. We're looking at him right now. All right. Final segment here of the show tonight. We're gonna quickly go through week 1 and give our early picks. Next week, this will start me and Duffy's competition of picking and getting our locks and upsets in. And from then on, we've been doing this. This is our 3rd year doing it now, actually.
Yes, it is. And Chat beat me 2 years ago, but last year, I don't even know if you beat me. You might have. I don't remember.
We definitely kept track of it. I don't know how. We have to look back. Somehow.
Picture of AB, because I didn't get a picture of anything for this.
Yeah.
So let's put AB on the screen for the first game of the season.
Yeah. So I'll start us off tonight here with Dallas at Tampa Bay. Obviously, you got Dak Prescott coming off his injury that ended his season last year. That was very scary and obviously upsetting to me because that was my fantasy quarterback. But at the end of the day, I have to go with the Super Bowl champs. I think there's no way that you can really go against these guys, especially since they're in Tampa. They're playing a Dallas Cowboys defense that is just utter garbage. You're looking at the same Super Bowl team you saw play last year. I just think that, and honestly, I don't have much I don't hold Ezekiel Elliott as highly as I used to. I don't think he's I don't think he's in the top 5 anymore.
And it's a tough way to start the season too for him in Tampa Bay against a really good run defense. Also,
so I take the Bucs. Duffy, let's hear your next pick.
But we'll see about the Cowboys. I feel like if there's any games which the Bucs get upset this season, this is definitely one to look at. The Cowboys could drop 400 yards of offense, 500 yards of offense. You never know. But I'll take the Bucs also. And week 1, early afternoon games, my boy Will Reyes is actually going to this game in Indianapolis. Seattle versus the Colts. Carson Wentz's status, I think, still in question. He got injured a couple weeks ago. But I think he will be good to play. He's been at practice recently.
Which was interesting because for a while, everybody was like, well, that's it. That Carson Wentz is done.
Because it said 5 to 12 weeks at first. That was scary.
This guy must have grinded to come back, though. Jesus.
He must have. I'm still taking I'm taking the Seahawks on the road though.
Yeah.
Week 1, because his status is in question, and Russell Wilson in week 1 has been very good in recent years. I think they've won several in a row opening season matchups. And I expect the Seahawks, man, I think they're gonna be worse than they were last year, honestly, but I think this is a game in which they snag early on in the season.
Absolutely. Another game to look at. This one will be exciting. Arizona at Tennessee. We see Julio Jones and AJ Green suit up in new uniforms. This is going to be a tight back and forth matchup, but I think at the end of the day, we'll see Julio Jones get his first touchdown as a Titan, and we'll see Derrick Henry rush for at least 150 yards on the day to give Tennessee a big victory over Kyler Murray and the Cardinals. This will be a high-scoring matchup because you're obviously talking Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, AJ Green, James Conner, Chase Edmonds. You got a solid offense right there.
Yeah.
So
A big game.
I think this is going to be one of the biggest afternoon games we'll see.
I'm going to take the Titans in this game, just because I think Arizona's a fluke. I think they were a fluke last year.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Titans, man, -3 in this game. Go slam that. And they're going to win this game by at least a touchdown. And I think this will be the beginning of Cliff Kingsbury's midseason firing. Ooh, hot take. Cliff Kingsbury is getting canned midseason. I'm telling you, this will be the first game that's going to be like, wow, we just scored 7 points against the Tennessee Titans defense, the second worst third down defense in the league last year. Tennessee Titans, man, 1-0 start. And it's going to be easier than you think it will be, Titans fans.
All right, so that's kind of it really for our interesting week one, well, our 1 o'clock matchups. As I should, Jesus Christ, what the hell was that?
Yeah,
I should say. But I think before we end the 1 o'clock matchup, let's talk about Jacksonville and Houston, because I think we're going to see Trevor Lawrence secure his first win as a Jaguar and really set the record straight when it comes to being a Jaguars fan and actually give this franchise some hope to their future. I don't think he's going to blow this team out, but I think he's going to give them their money's worth. And I think we're going to see him pass for 300 yards on that day.
300, 3 bills.
Yes, I think we're going to see 300 yards on a very poorly put together Houston Texans defense. And I think we'll see them win this one 24-20.
I think it'll be a low-scoring game like that, or a mid-tier scoring game. I have the Jaguars winning too. I think it'll be close also because, it's his first game in the league. Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars. They're still the Jaguars at the end of the day. They're still one of the worst all-around teams in the league, but good thing for them. Houston's one of the even more worst teams. So I will also take Jacksonville in this game. Close margin. And, Trevor Lawrence's first W in that left side of the column. Another game I want to also talk about too, a 1 o'clock game. Chargers versus Washington. I think the Chargers are currently 1-point favorites in this game. And this one's one of the more interesting ones of the week for me. In FedEx Field, Ryan Fitzmagic and the new look Washington team, really, against the Chargers, coming back with a new head coach too. Chad, who do you got in this game? Because whoever you don't have, I might make a bet against you.
I'm gonna take LA in this one. I just think
I'll take Washington.
I mean, Washington obviously not going to go against their stout defense because that was easily one of the top 5 defenses and still is one of the top 5 defenses in this league, being led by Chase Young. But I just think we'll see Justin Herbert have himself a day with that offense of his, even without the likes of Hunter Henry. He's still got players like Keenan Allen and Austin Eckler to really dump the ball off to. I think that Chargers defense is going to see itself start to get a little bit stronger after everybody came back from a tough last year and just be healthy for once and actually able to stop this very it's like a weird thing to look at that Washington football team's offense. I'm not sure what to make of it, if you know what I mean. So
me neither. That's why I'm going to put my money on them now so I can not hop on the bandwagon mid-season.
Yep. All right. So now to look at this 425 game. We're almost wrapped up here. We're going to go off for one 425 game, and I think the one that we have to talk about right now easily has to be Cleveland at Kansas City. This was the AFC divisional round game that nearly sent the Cleveland Browns to the AFC Championship game and nearly the Super Bowl. Without Patrick Mahomes for this game, the Chiefs managed to stay grounded just enough to come back and beat the Cleveland Browns. And I got to say, in this one, it's going to be tough for me to put my money against the Chiefs because Patrick Mahomes, I think he's hungry for blood this year. I think he wants to get back to that Super Bowl so badly after being absolutely embarrassed last February. I think that was just an utter domination by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I think he wants to get back on track, baby, in order to really set the record straight of who the best player is in the league and who the best quarterback is in the league. And obviously, and that's why I think they're absolutely going to dominate the Cleveland Browns. I don't want to go against Baker Mayfield, but because I love the guy, but he's not as good as Patrick Mahomes. I'm taking Kansas City.
Yeah, Chiefs are going to be hungry, just coming off Super Bowl loss, and they're going to be in front of their home crowd, full in effect for the first time in like 2 years probably. So give me the Chiefs also. At home, Arrowhead Stadium's going to get loud for this game. Team that almost beat them in the playoffs last year, the Browns, they have a chance to win this game, but with Mahomes playing the full 60 minutes, presumably, I don't see any chance the Browns go to Arrowhead and start the Chiefs out at 0-1. I don't see that happening at all. So give me the Chiefs, in pretty easy fashion.
Yeah, without a doubt, 120%. Now, to look at the 8:20 game, I just want to talk about this one real quick because obviously
shit matchup.
It's a shit matchup, but I want to talk about
this game.
The only reason I want to talk about this is because you got two nice defenses, but you also got a new quarterback for one of them, Matt Stafford. And I guess the other team too.
Two new quarterbacks, two new look teams in the Rams and Bears on Sunday Night Football. I don't know why they did this to us as the opening matchup of the season on Sunday Night Football.
I'm just excited to see Matt Stafford take the helm of the Rams.
Matt Stafford versus Andy Dalton. Because I think Dalton will start week 1.
And hey, we might actually get to see Sony Michel run the ball a little bit.
You're right. We might.
Maybe.
Give me the Rams easily in that one though. And slam the under, because I was talking about this with Ben last night on our other podcast, TJ and B. I was telling him, like, dude, the Bears go into this game and score like 3 points, 6 points. They could realistically go in this game and not get in the end zone once, or even sniff it. Especially if Justin Fields starts his first game against Aaron Donald and that Rams defense.
Yeah.
And I don't think new system against Aaron Donald and the Rams defense.
I think we could potentially see a blowout, but I think we could see one of those games where the score ends up being like 24-10 or 3.
Yeah.
That's the type of matchup I see in this one. Yeah.
The last 3 years, these teams have played on primetime every year, and they've scored under 40 points every time.
Yeah. It's probably
under. It's at 44.5.
Yeah. Definitely hit the under on this one. This is just a game where I don't see it going that far. All right. Yeah. And then the last one, Baltimore at Las Vegas. I mean, we're kind of just talking about it just because these are the primetime slots to look at. And obviously, I think in this one, I'm going to take Baltimore because really this team is just so much better than what we see over here. But obviously, that team could look totally different going into that because obviously you have players. I'm pretty sure that entire wide receiver core, except for Mark Andrews right now, has an injury designation.
Yeah, they're a little bit banged up, the whole team. I'm taking Vegas in an upset, honestly. Week 1. This is a team that beat the Saints on Monday Night Football in September last year. This is a very good September football team, the Raiders. They have been the last few years.
Yeah.
And, dude, honestly, I'm feeling upset. I'm just sniffing one right now from this team. They're at home, too. I believe it's in Vegas. They're going to have the Allegiant Stadium all nice and packed for the first time ever, man. And I'm sitting a little upset here.
Yeah,
in Vegas. Give me the Raiders week 1 against the Ravens.
Yeah, you're really sniffing out for Kenyon Drake here.
Kenyon Josh, he'll get a couple touches in the red zone and just run right into his O-line, so it's cool.
Yep, we'll see.
He'll run right through a non-gaping hole. Kenyon Josh.
Yep, Kenyon Joshin right there.
Kenyon Joshin, baby.
But those are some of our preview looks here for week 1. Next week, we will go into our locks and upsets. That is one of our biggest segments here all season long. Be ready for that. That'll be something fun. Hopefully more to return as time goes on. But just wanted to end off the show by saying thank you all for tuning in last season. This season obviously is going to go on for a lot more longer. We may have a break here and there, but it will be we will be more transparent. Last year, obviously, we were starting off, so we're still trying to feel the show out. At this point, feels pretty rock solid and concrete of what to bring going forward. And that's just bringing you guys sports talk day to day, especially football, baby, because that's what we live for.
We're excited.
But anyways, thank you all for tuning in once again to start of season 2 here with Unapologetic. This is Chet and Duffy signing off. We will see you next Wednesday, the night before kickoff, to go over our true week 1 matchups here, and we will see you all then. Have a good night. Peace out and go Pats.
Peace.